Just to follow on from Neil's comments, sorry, pre the break, I generally feel like Liverpool are a mess. I just don't feel like there's the club's being particularly well run. And I do feel I felt loads more down, and it was exacerbated by how happy I felt when the story broke that we had a bid accepted for Caicedo. It all looked like it was done and dusted, because that's what happens. Bid accepted. Now it's just, by all accounts, like the medical was being sorted, and it was like the process. And we were here. Well, no, sorry, I was here. Were you here?
Yeah.
You were here. You two weren't, you fucking lucky bastards. But like, it's the process. We know what happens. You press go, and then it's like, right, cool, so that's going to happen. So you do your reaction, then we do some more stuff on Plus. Then we start to try and find as many journalists and coaches and all that kind of thing to speak to as possible. It's go time, because this is going to follow. And then it's like, what? And then he's going to do the medical, and he's going to sign it. We had the weekend was all mapped out, because we've done this before. We know what it looks like. And then, yeah, obviously then it just completely spins on its head, and then we're all left in limbo, and all these like fucking mad chances on Twitter start throwing it all in with their little tidbits of second, third hand information. It's depressing is a bit of an exaggeration, but it definitely felt like a big kick in the teeth, Chloe. I know you felt it acutely over the last few days. It felt like we were on a real high, and it did feel like it absolutely took the legs off the mood over the weekend.
My sleep schedule's been ruined for absolutely no reason at all, basically. I'm gutted, to be perfectly honest. It was the fact that no one ever thought this would be a possibility. Like, not a single Liverpool fan. We all might have wanted it, but no one thought we stood a chance. And to have it go from no chance at all, not even a snippet of this being a plausible idea, and then a bombshell to be dropped that actually it's already done, they've accepted it, they've agreed it, it's about a medical tomorrow. You had at 1:30 in the morning, people going absolutely mental. I was sat there laughing in shock at what the hell have Liverpool just done. It was confident to see, we were not spending 50 mil on Lavia 2 minutes ago, and we all thought, Jesus Christ, we've got no money, what are we trying to do? AR have 111 million straight out. It was, to have that ripped from you when you seem like you've got it all done, it's really gutting, especially when you know how much we need a DM, how good he is. And you can say that 111 million is ridiculous money. It was a record British fee, wasn't it? But at the end of the day, it shows how much we're in trouble. But not just that, it shows that you're not just paying for him now. He's 21, you're paying for the next however many years of him.
9 at Chelsea.
Yeah, 9 at Chelsea. So yeah, it was just, I'm not gonna lie, it was depressing. It felt like you've went from the biggest high ever, and I think it was mostly because no one thought we'd ever see that happen, and no one thought it was a plausible idea, and for it to actually, for 5 hours, become a reality, it was brilliant to have it snatched from underneath you. And obviously it hurt a bit more knowing the fact that they've spent 800 mil in three windows, and we're over here not paying 50 mil for Lavia, trying to get him for 47 instead. It's a kick in the teeth. And then to go on from that, it was throughout the day, before we even did the match build-up, I was already hit, because by 10 a.m, someone had told me Chelsea were coming in for them again. And even though there was this deadline from Brighton, well, deadline means absolute fuck all to use over there. And then, now we want Caicedo, but guess what? That other lad who you've been going on with for 4 weeks trying to bid for him, yet we also now want him to have 55 mil on the table. They want a goalkeeper as well, because they're getting rid of Kepa. They've just signed Denzel Washington, apparently. I mean, how he's that actor's managed to come all the way over here, I'm not sure. They're looking for so many other positions, and I just feel like, where do we even go from here? Who's next? I can't move on because I don't know who else we're looking at.
The issue is Liverpool got played.
Yeah.
And that's what's embarrassing. Liverpool did nothing wrong here. Liverpool went to a club. No, sorry, tell a lie. Liverpool went to an agent or a player and said, would you sign for us if we can get a bid? They were told yes. They made that bid. They got that bid accepted. That's what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
Liverpool played it exactly right. They go to the people and go...
And moreover, in going for the big bucks. That was the encouraging side for me. It was like Liverpool have got the money. They're still prepared to go and spend what it needs to be spent on the right players. They've gone and got who's about to go and get who's the best available in the market at this point. No cost isn't an issue. And you're right. And then and
that's what's happened. Like the Lavia thing's a separate situation, Cole. It turns out Liverpool have got the dough. They just don't think it's worth it, and that's fine. I'm alright with that. Like as long as, but you've got to then have someone who you think you can spend the money on. That's the point. If he doesn't come to Liverpool now, or he does whatever, we'll see how it goes. But Liverpool did the Caicedo thing exactly what you meant to do. They didn't. And I heard, like, why didn't they bid for him a few weeks ago? Well, they thought he was going to Chelsea, and then that was dragging on. Excuse me. And Liverpool go, you know, there's an opportunity here. They're doing the exact thing. Let's go and speak to his people. Do you reckon he'd fancy it? Yeah, okay, let's go to Brighton. What do you want? Yeah, okay, we can do it. That should be it. The issue is that they've obviously been sold a lie somewhere. It might just be that it was like, yeah, we'll sign for you. Oh, but they didn't really think it was off. But there's no way he's going to bid for him. Hopefully now. Well,
the idea of the deadline thing gave surety on that, because you don't want to get caught into a bidding war with Chelsea clearly, because they'll find a way to beat you at any cost. And I think Chelsea are going to be in all kinds of trouble in years to follow. But that's another conversation for another day. But that's the thing about it, Dan, is that it's. Brighton has set a deadline. They'll be fuming. The worst thing is, of course, is the timing of all this and all the other general feelings of negativity. It's being lumped in with as Liverpool ineptitude. And with Steve, this isn't the Liverpool. Aren't the ones who fucked this. They've been fucked. But of course, the net result doesn't make any difference. We still feel just as shit about how the football club's being run.
Yeah, and what's happened since with the Lavia stuff makes it look even worse, doesn't it? Because we're left without our plan A or B and sort of scrambling around about who to turn to next. So yeah, it is a difficult one. I think Liverpool did exactly the right thing when it comes to Caicedo. I think keeping the bid on the table after it was accepted was the right thing to do, because otherwise you walk away, you allow Chelsea probably to sign it for slightly less, potentially lines up against you on a Sunday as well, so you make that happen quicker. So Liverpool acted accordingly. They acted absolutely correctly, and they acted in a way that sort of should fill us with encouragement, that, like you both allude to there, we are willing to spend big money on the player that we see fit. And I agree with Steve. I don't think the Lavia situation's ever been a case of checking our back pockets and down the couch for the cash to get him. I think we don't think he's worth 50 million. I think we think that's over the odds. And listen, we may well have our hand forced in paying over the odds because we might not be left with much choice when it comes round to it, and that could be the case. But I think the whole time we just thought he isn't a £50 million footballer, therefore we don't want to pay that, and that's always been our stance. We don't want to go to any negotiation and get our pants pulled down, so I don't really blame us for that. And it does fill me with encouragement that we were willing to go to 111 million for Caicedo, because we've done that a lot recently, and I think we're quick to forget. Like, we fast forwarded the Luis Diaz transfer and we thought there was a sniff of, was it Tottenham getting him, didn't we? We thought, no, we want him, let's go and pay now, let's get it done January. Same with Cody Gakpo, we did that recently as well. So when we see an opportunity and the player is the right fit and he ticks the boxes, and I've said for a while about Caicedo, I dragged up that old clip of me saying you go and hijack that deal, because he is the answer, and clearly Liverpool felt the same. He's the answer, and when the answer's there staring you right in the face and there's a chance you can sign him, you pay the money for it, and that's what we're willing to do. We're willing to pay through the nose, break our own record by some distance, break the British record, and that's a good thing. Now what it means, the result of it, the end cost of that, is that you haven't got the player and you might not have your plan B either. So what Liverpool do next is essentially anyone's guess. What I do think, though, sort of to bring it back around to all of this, is I don't think Liverpool now, nothing's off the table now for Liverpool and what we do for the rest of the window, because the options that have kind of come and gone and they've been sort of crossed off the list for various reasons, age, injury prone, valuation in terms of like the club want too much money for him. Now we don't have any choice, because previously Caicedo was there and Lavia was there, we knew that all along, but now they're off the table, potentially. I think Lavia might be. Now those sort of excuses, if you like, are gone. We just have to go and sign someone, and our reasoning for not doing can't exist anymore.
I suppose as well is that the flip side is, mate, everyone now knows you got 111 million quid. Everyone, nobody do, like, for example.
Well, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, look, we could argue that it was that 111 million pounds being put in a suitcase and handed over to Brian. It wasn't, but I agree. Broadly speaking, what you're saying is Liverpool. People know Liverpool aren't paupers,
but they knew that anyway. Just to say, like, crying poverty as a top 6 club doesn't wash with other football clubs. Like it's not. You are right. Liverpool aren't notoriously lavish spenders because that's not the way we run the football club. But you go to Brighton, Crystal Palace, whoever it may be, for one of their players, they know when Liverpool come knocking, there's money to be found somewhere. So they've always known that.
I think the play is you go to Real Madrid and you just make a decision on Tchouaméni. It's all well and good just saying, is he available or can we have him? It's another thing going, 90 million quid there, lads. You can like.
I just don't think he's 90 mil anymore. I genuinely don't.
But he is again.
It doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter.
We've at least taken Chelsea out the market as well.
Moises Caicedo isn't the 3rd best player in the world of all time.
No,
but that's what the fee they're paying for him is. You know what I mean? It's beggars can't be choosers. Chelsea and us, and I say beggars knowing the fact that they're very rich beggars. But you know what I mean? Like.
We're in a situation now where we are beggars for the DM.
Exactly. We are desperate to get. We haven't got. We've got Stefan Bajcetic, just the only defensive midfielder really in the club, and he's a lad who's played 10 games and his hip fell off. So like, we need to do something. It's what you go and do now is next. Like, I have no issue with Liverpool getting made a show by the Caicedo. I mean, I do in terms of like it's not great, but in terms of how Liverpool acted, I think Liverpool acted fine. But the fact is now,
to be fair, it's based on that. You know, we were out at the boss night thing on the Thursday night, and we ended that day with the rumours that Liverpool were going to outbid. Mel Reddy was the one who said we were prepared to, but we hadn't launched the bid. And I did a video going, "There's no way Liverpool are doing this." I was like, Chelsea don't want Lavia, and Liverpool don't want them because they'd just come in straight away with the bids. So when the rumours started to break and you were getting getting word, it's like, well, it looks like they're going to do something. I was shocked that they pushed the pull the trigger on that one, but that was again, that means my understanding of how they act is not correct. I'm not up to date. You know, I mean, I've got a lot of us have got a strong suspicion of it, but that should be seen as a positive that they are prepared to go and do things. But you're right, it's not their fault, but they need to. We're now left in a situation, all the best intentions are great, best intentions can't play defensive midfield for us. Like, ambition to sign players can't play centre mid for you. You know, can do going and buying players who can play in defensive midfielder. So it's great they've tried this, and it's really annoying and it's shit that it's failed. And the worst thing is they could pay the price in the worst way, that they've taken their eyes off Lavia. And if Chelsea have actually unsettled that move for us as well, then let's call it what it is. Chelsea have played a fucking blinder here. It's stupid, all the contracts they're giving out and all that kind of stuff. And again, I contend in 2 or 3 years time, when they're on they're 2 managers in and they don't want half the players and they can't shift any of them because they're all on 8-year contracts, they're going to be up shit creek. But I mean, they'll just ship them off to their mates in Saudi, of course, like, you know what I mean? But that's all sound. Liverpool now they can't fuck around anymore. No. We now know the shape of the transfer budget. Was that all the budget? I don't know. Maybe.
So even if it is, take decisive action. You've got to go and spend. You've got to go and get it. We can't. I what's the word? I acknowledge the other flaws in the squad. Liverpool need a centre half. It might be that they need a left centre back as well. But if you're listing their priorities, they have to go and get a defensive midfielder. And I'm all right with Bajcetic back, whoever that's.
We literally watched Chelsea in exactly the same boat. Don't own a defensive midfielder, and they've gone, and they might resolve that by spending £175 million on 2. That's the kind of. I don't need Liverpool to spend 170 million, but we do need to have two guys in the club who can play defensive midfielder. You need your main one, and if there's something wrong with him, you need someone else who can do it without compromising other areas of the pitch. Not just did we compromise the 6th position by not having a 6, we compromised our 8th by not playing McAllister.
I think yesterday. I'm happy with Bajcetic as the second option behind someone boss, and McAllister and Thiago doing bits in home games against, like, with all due respect, you know, Luton at home or something, we'll play Thiago in it, whatever. But I think if you've fucked yourself by waiting a year to get your midfield rebuild underway, and if Liverpool are stupid enough to leave themselves with an 18-year-old kid as the main for 6, who hasn't had a pre-season, then it's just there. It's the iceberg, but it's like being the captain of the Titanic, but being told the Titanic hits an iceberg. We've seen it happen before. You've watched the film before you even got on the boat. Like, you mean, like, this is coming, so we know, because we've seen this happen. When Liverpool can't be that season. You can't put all our hopes and players onto one main defensive midfielder. I suppose, mate, the fact that we've just seen them being prepared to spend a record transfer, they know. You mean they're not idiots? Yeah. So you would I would still contend. I'd be shocked if they don't buy someone. I don't know who it's going to be.
That is the problem.
That's I don't know. Again, the Tchouaméni stuff makes perfect sense to me. It really does. It's now. Does Real Madrid want to sell him? Does he want to leave?
He's starting in the base of the midfield at this moment in time.
Yeah, he is, but and that's the thing. He might not want to go, and that's another problem. There's loads.
Find out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go and ask some questions over someone, because we knew that they were prepared to. They were interested in Jude Bellingham, and whatever reason that got too high, they were willing to, and they literally put a bid in for Moises Caicedo, the one that got accepted. So they can't say they've got no money now. Go and find one. There's got to be a DM somewhere, and I don't give a fuck if he's for sale or he's not. You go and make him for sale. There's enough money there where you say, listen, how much is he worth? He's worth 50. I sound. Listen,
the whole window just doesn't make sense, does it? You know what I mean? And again, it comes down to how highly Liverpool value these players. But it's mental that if we're going to buy Lavia, it's going to be 10 million more than we could have got him for a week before, because we fucked around with that one. And we fucked around, and I said it's fine if you fucked around because you're waiting for something bigger to develop, and then you then go and get that thing, which was the intention with Caicedo, all the best intentions. I was fine with us. Now, on Friday, I was like, what a great idea to slow play Lavia, because it's meant we can now afford to buy Caicedo instead, who's a better player. But now you've not got it, so your next move needs to be something decisive. But the problem is that what's the pecking order look like?
No.
How far down our list are we getting? Because we're starting to see, the Tchouaméni, great. I think Tchouaméni is right at the top of that list. Yeah. But if you can't get him, then he might as well not be on the list. Who gives a shit? Who is on there, and how good
Florentino Luis, Pauline.
Well, it's talking about having a 103 million release clause for Florentino Luis.
Yeah, not paying that, are they?
No, but you don't know, do you? I mean, the problem with release clause, and this is where it gets complex, is that Liverpool were not spending £111 million in one hit on that. Release clauses are that. That's why no one really pays huge release clauses. Every Spanish player, it's like a contractual thing in Spain. I've referenced it before, but Danielson had one when he first joined Real Betis, when he was the most expensive player on the planet, and had to shut 2 Spanish banks to pay his minimum release clause, because it was just a contractual obligation. We're getting to a world now where people now do, because of Neymar and all that kind of stuff, people do just go and play those ludicrous sums. I don't know that Liverpool will have 105 in their arse pocket to hand to Luis.
And
also,
that's the problem.